Hi, everybody. I'm just checking in this evening just to talk a little bit about where I am today, because I think that so many people will be able to relate to this, particularly if you're trying to build something and you're trying to build something that is impactful, that will last and stand the test of time, something that will create, in a way, its own legacy. So today I was able to get a few things done. I've been working all day. I was able to achieve some milestones, get some things done on my task list from today. And I took a break and I was going to come home and finish up some other things. And everything that I've tried to do over the last hour to 2 hours has not worked. I've tried to pay some bills, the payment processing didn't work. I've tried to create some additional resources using the AI platform, Midjourney. Midjourney's not working. I've tried to check some emails. Some of the emails that I'm looking for aren't showing up. I know they're there. I know that they are supposed to come through. So I've had a productive day in ways, but now as I get toward the end of the day, things are not working out, and they're not working out at a time where my energy is the lowest. I'm a morning person. I'm up prior to dawn. Usually I'm up before the sun comes up. And I've hit the ground and running before 6 a.m. I just have to. That's just the way my life is set up, particularly if I want to get things done. So usually the morning is my most productive time, but even still, as I get toward the end of the day, I still want to ensure that I'm productive. I want to make the most of the day. I learned that from my grandmother. My grandmother was a farmer and owned a farm. And one of the things that she always said was, and this was around 8 or 9 a.m. She said, "What you think you gonna sleep all day? The day have gone." And it's only like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. But that was her mindset. She would be up at 4 or 5 a.m. and working, and then would make the most of the day throughout the day. So I have some of that, inherited some of that mindset that I want to get the most out of every day. And that doesn't mean that I do that every day, but that is generally the objective. And I'm sure that there are many of us who have that objective, that we want to make the day as productive as possible. But for whatever reason, something always tries to come in and rob us of our productivity, tries to come and rob us of our time, of our focus. Focus is a big one. And that's why clarity is so important. And you'll understand that clarity is one of the keys to, excuse me, you'll understand that clarity is one of the keys to my farm framework, finishing with all the resources for mastery, and how we conquer failure and how we master failure and ensure that we extract all of the resources that we learn whenever we do fail and get the most out of it. But clarity is so important, and it's important in particular in times like this, where it just seems like something is coming in and trying to rob us of our productivity, trying to rob us of our hope, trying to rob us of our momentum, because momentum is really big. Particularly, again, if you're trying to build something, you're trying to build a business, you're trying to build a habit, momentum gives you that strength. And there are certain things that will come in and try to rob us. And you kind of wonder why that is. One big reason, and Myron Golden said this, he said that disruption follows intention. That as soon as you set your mind to do something, particularly if it's positive, particularly if it's godly, there's going to be spiritual disruption that is let loose on it. And we see this throughout the scriptures, particularly we see this in the life of Jesus. He gets baptized, he goes off into the wilderness, and he's focused for 40 days and 40 nights. And as he's coming out of that, boom, Satan comes. In order to grant salvation to us, he has to go to the cross. So he has that suffering where he's praying to the extent that he sweat blood in the garden of Gethsemane, then goes to the cross. And that's the disruption that he had to go through to deliver us from sin. We see this in everyday life. It seems like, and you'll get a feeling that no matter what it is that you're trying to do, that something always comes up. Something gets in the way. You have these plans of what you're going to do tomorrow. You'll get sick, or somebody else will get sick, and it'll just throw you off. But if you have clarity, what you will be able to do is have a clear vision and an understanding that even though what I'm trying to do today doesn't seem to be working out, there is something here that will be beneficial for me and or beneficial for somebody else. And that's the important piece of ensuring that we don't sit still in our comfort zones. Because if we're going to make changes, if we're going to be impactful, it is going to require us to go off into the unknown, into the unplanned, into those places and spaces and working with those people who bring inconvenience. Because inconvenience is where we'll find the problems that we need to solve to be able to be a solution, not only for ourselves, but to be a solution for other people, whether you're talking about just serving in ministry or you're talking about business, because both of those things are about being there to solve other people's problems. And we know that you build wealth, you build a business fundamentally by figuring out what are the problems that you can solve. And as by solving those problems, you bring value enough to people that you are willing to pay for them. But the problem with inconvenience is that it puts us in a position to fail. And the more that we understand that failure is not necessarily bad, it's more so a learning opportunity and an opportunity, again, to extract resources from a space that we typically would not inhabit, then the more we'll understand that it's okay to be inconvenienced. I bring all of that back home to say that even though I'm being inconvenienced right now, even though some of the things that I desire to do today are not working out, I took the time to make this video. So even in my inconvenience, as I was trying to get the most out of this day, it was not my plan to shoot this video. But because the things that I planned to do were inconveniently interrupted, I decided I would stop and create this video because I wanted it to be productive. So my initial plans for this evening failed. They dropped due to nothing that I did. I was just trying to get the things to work. I'm still trying to get them to work. But it allowed me to create this video and hopefully bring you some value in the inconvenience that came to me. And that's because of my understanding of the principle of clarity. Because because I have the clarity of what my overarching objective is, and that's to provide value to you, that's to dig deep into the farm framework, again, finishing with all the resources for mastery, the 8-step framework, the 8-part framework that I've come up with for conquering and mastering failure to ensure that you're extracting all of the resources that are available in every failure. Because I failed today and systems failed, it had nothing to do with me. Again, I was able to generate this video that I hope is bringing you some value and shows you how clarity works. If you understand the overarching principle of what it is that you're trying to achieve, then even when things fail, even when things break like they've broken for me in the last hour or two, you can still produce value and extract valuable resources from that failure. And it's just like mining. It's just like getting to a diamond or getting to gasoline or oil in the ground. You have to dig through the dirt. You have to dig down into something that's dirty, filthy, nasty, hot, stinky, but powerful at the same time. And when you have clarity, you will look for those opportunities anytime failure comes about. Because particularly if you are understanding the scriptures, there is no failure that hasn't already been planned in your life. And people will hear me say this all the time, but there's only 2 ways that anything can happen in your life. 1, God commanded it, or 2, God allowed it. And Ligonier Ministries, I forget the gentleman's name who teaches it. I'll put it in the comments. But he has this thing called the rogue molecule. And the principle is that if there's any single molecule in the universe that ever does anything that God has not planned or commanded it to do, then God is not God. And when we think about that, that is such a powerful understanding of every time that we fail, that God either planned it or he allowed it. Either way, he is going to allow us the opportunity to extract benefit, value, and goodness out of it. So what I want you to think about tonight, again, clarity. Focus on the overarching objective. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to get done? Because then when you have the intermittent interim failures, then you can look into those failures and see what the opportunities are to move toward your objective anyway. And now you have a new path. And because of this, because of the failure, I have now a new asset in this video that I can share that's going to be evergreen, that hopefully when I get to 1,000 or 100,000 videos, then I can always pull back this one and it still will provide value. So this is Chad Kifal, man. I'm going to wrap this up because I don't want to start repeating myself too much. It's getting late. I've still got quite a bit to do, but I did want to just drop this in there on clarity and how clarity, having a clear vision, a clear understanding of your overarching objective can help you figure out when you are finding failure, when you have inconvenience, when things are not working out the way you want them to be able to identify ways to still extract value in the moment. Again, my name is Chad Kifal. I appreciate you. Just remember, failure fears us. Peace.